Hi! So winter is almost upon us. Yes, CAT 2022 is just round the corner. Keeping this in mind, we know each and every one of you is really excited but is also looking for the last final push and the fillip that is going to add those extra 5, 10, 15 percentile to your final CAT score. Well, because of this, BYJU'S exam prep brings to you the last lap to CAT 2022 starting on the 17th of October all the way till the 20th of November. Yes, 4.5 intensive, in fact almost 5 intensive weeks of preparation. What more, the focus is predominantly going to be CAT, which means, as we know, time, speed, distance and time and work in totality have almost equal weightage or sometimes even more weightage than geometry. So can we go ahead and leave geometry and just focus on these two? Can we go ahead and leave entire theta para jumbles and still score a 99.99 percentile in verbal? Yes, we can. This and much more in terms of preparation, in terms of intensive questions that we're going to look at and the smartest way of going ahead and solving that. So catch us on the BYJU'S exam prep app, and in case you missed that, on YouTube. But go ahead, download the BYJU'S exam prep app and also get a 99 percentile kit which is going to help you ace CAT 2022.
A good noon to all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. Hi, I'm Nikita. I welcome you to this session. We'll talk about some important CAT VARC questions today also in continuation with what we did yesterday. So in case you missed out on yesterday's session, you can consider watching it. Today also, I'll be taking up some VA questions, verbal ability questions, because that has been your demand, right? So let's begin. Good afternoon, Pragya. Hi, Ayushi. Good afternoon. Good noon, Apurva. Hello, Harika. Hello. Hi, Ayushi. Hello, Prabhat. Good noon. All right. So Varun is missing today, yes? He is conspicuous by his absence. Hello, Sachin. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Gyaneshwari. Okay, then let's begin. So today again, I have some parajumbles, parasummary questions for you. In parajumbles, both kinds, odd sentence out also, and the theta parajumbles also. Hello, Aniket. Hi, Arini. Good noon, Rohit, Divya. Okay, let's begin then. Hello, Karthik. So, just like yesterday, we'll look at the types of questions that are asked in VA. We'll learn the approach to solve them. And of course, we'll actually solve some questions. That's how we'll learn the approach, right? So, as I told you yesterday, if I talk about the type in the answer parajumbles, wherein you have to type a whole sequence in the last 7 years, initially you used to get 5 sentence parajumbles, wherein you had to type in a whole sequence of 5 sentences, right? However, later on, this was reduced to 4 sentences. So now you have to type in a sequence of 4 sentences, right? No negative marking here. So let's look at a question of 4 sentences first because that's the latest trend. Yes. Hello, Tanisha, Guru, Maitri. Let's solve this question. Let's see who answers the fastest. Not difficult. Good afternoon, Amrit. Hello, King. Three, four, two, one. I've got my first answer. All right. All right. What else? 3214. Sachin says 3214. Okay. Others. There are grammar-based clues. 3214, okay. All right. Okay. 5 of you say 3214. Do the others agree? Okay. Maitri says it should be 3241, not 14. All right. So let's have a look at what it should be. Right. So I'm very happy that all of you have said 3 as the opening sentence, because that tells me, okay, what is happening in this paragraph. 10 buses slowly pulled into Zaporizhia's deserted streets under darkness, carrying 174 evacuees from the Mariupol area, people who have been evacuated. Now they included, see, who are these they? The evacuees. They included more than 30 of the 51 civilians evacuated in the last day from the Azovstal steel mill, where an estimated 2,000 Ukrainian fighters are making what appears to be their last stand. So these evacuees included some civilians also, right? Now, both Ukrainian and Russian officials have said that these civilians, so see, these were my grammar-based clues, evacuees, they, okay, then I say civilians, so civilians is then related to these civilians, just like evacuees was related to they. So the officials have said that these civilians are the last non-combatants from the industrial complex, okay. Now, fourth will come towards the end, because it is the quote of one particular such civilian who has been rescued, right? Who has been evacuated. It was terrible in the bunkers, said 69-year-old Lyubov Andropova, who had been in Azovstal since March 10. So first we'll give you an account of the situation, then we'll take a bite from one of the evacuees, right? So this is the account of the situation. People have been evacuated. They include civilians. Now these are the last civilians, non-combatants, and then we will give the quote of one particular person, going from general to specific that way, right? So not 3241, 3214. Absolutely correct, those who said that. Okay. All right, Milind. So 2023 MHCT, you can consider watching some of the sessions that I took for MHCT 2022. They'll help you. Okay. One of you said 3124 also, but after 3, I first need to talk about the fact that these evacuees include civilians. Then only I can talk about these civilians. It's a step-by-step approach. So after 3, 2 will come. Okay, so not a difficult question, as all of you must have realized. Coming to the second question. Now this one is a 5-sentence parajumble, but again it is easy. So make connections and tell me the answer. Yes, you have to form a sequence. Very simple. Let's see who answers the fastest. King says 5. Okay, no. It's not an odd sentence out question. You don't have to identify the odd sentence out. You have to give me a whole sequence. Okay, Anushka says 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Music course says 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. Okay. 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. All right. Darshan says 1, 4, 3, 5, 2. Okay. 4. All right. So I'm getting very different opening sentences here. 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay. Only 3 is left. So 3, you must be thinking, see, it has this, so it cannot be the opening sentence. This is usually a chance occurrence. All right, then let's have a look. A very simple question actually. First, we say that a miscarriage is simply nature's way of dealing with an abnormal embryo. So, what makes this embryo abnormal? We then talk about that. So, 2 is clearly the opening sentence here. Because first, I give you an outline that what is a miscarriage. It's simply nature's way of dealing with an abnormal embryo. Then I talk about that abnormality in detail. I elaborate on that. What is that abnormality? Usually, the most common cause of a miscarriage is a problem with the baby's chromosomes. Okay, this is usually a chance occurrence. What? Problem with the baby's chromosomes. This is usually a chance occurrence and cannot be attributed to any problem with the chromosomes of the parents. So, if there is a problem with the baby's chromosomes, you can't attribute it to a problem with the chromosomes of the parents. So that link is also present in 1 and 3. If a baby does not have the right number of chromosomes, normal development cannot happen. So what happens when there is a problem with the baby's chromosomes? The result, the outcome is stated in 4. Normal development cannot happen. And what is the ultimate consequence? The pregnancy can end in a miscarriage. So 2 is the opening sentence. It kind of gives us a summary, right, of what is going to come next. We actually elaborate on the abnormality here and then state its ultimate consequence. So 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, right? Uh, Good. Those who gave me the correct answer. Again, quite a few of you gave the correct answer in this one also. Good, good, good. Anushka answered the fastest this time. Good. Okay. I hope it makes sense why the others are not the opening sentences. There is a flow, there's a very clear flow to this paragraph. Okay, so this was a 5 sentence parajumble. As I told you that, yeah, I mean, initially CAT used to ask such 5 sentence type in the answer parajumbles. However, lately we have been seeing 4 sentence parajumbles. Okay, so let's come back to a 4 sentence parajumble then. Here's the paragraph. Let's see what you say. Make connections and tell me what the answer should be. Let's see who answers the fastest here. Okay, 3124, then 3214. 2413. 2314. 1243. 3214. Okay, similar to what music course said. All right. 1324. Again, a fresh sequence. All right. All right. Let's see what is the answer. Okay. Hmm. So I think I have got the correct answer. Yes, I've got the correct answer. And therefore, I can now proceed to talking about it. So, I think in the beginning, only one of the students gave me the correct sequence, right? The sequence here will be 1, 2, 4, 3, right? 1, 2, 4, 3. So, Harsh was the first one to give the correct sequence, right? Then I waited for a long time for someone else also to say it. So then finally Shreya also seconded and said 1, 2, 4, 3 is the sequence. Okay, so let's see why that is the case. When you read it, first of all, we do not know who this person is, right? She, that is given to us. So that can be a little confusing for us. But we have to recognize that it's a paragraph, not a whole essay. And therefore, it's not necessary that every time I will be told the name of the person. Maybe the name was there in a previous paragraph. So, those who are saying that 3 is the opening sentence, see this. It is particularly refreshing and symbolic that it came on a football field in England where women's football had been banned in stadiums from 1921 for 50 years. What came? So, when I say it came on a football field, we are probably referring to the celebration of this person. Yes, this woman. So we will first talk about that celebration, and then we'll say it is particularly refreshing that this sort of a display of celebration came on a football field in England. Right. So 3 is not going to be the opening sentence. Rather, it is the closing sentence here. Okay. Then why 1 to 4? Why not some other sequence? See, 2 and 4 make a mandatory pair. She asserted the right of a woman to own the moment of victory and celebrate it as she wants to. And celebrate the moment as she wants to. Like a male athlete might do. Like a male athlete also might celebrate it as he wants to. So 2 4 is a pair. Okay, so that means the only possible sequences are 1 2 4 3 or 2 4 1 3. Yeah. But uh, if you look at first one, it tells us what she did. She showcased the free spiritedness of the woman athlete on the sporting field. So it sort of builds a background. It sort of gives me a picture so that she showcased the free spiritedness of the woman athlete. So, okay, she is a woman athlete here. She did it on a sporting field. Okay. Then we talk about how it shows the right of a woman. Then we broaden the discussion from there. First we show what has happened. A woman athlete has celebrated on a sporting field. What does it symbolize? And then I say, it's particularly refreshing that this happened in a stadium in England, a field, a sporting field in England, right? So that's why it will be 1 to 4 3 only, not even 2 4 1 3, right? Does it make sense to you why it will be 1 2 4 3? Also, the she connection, in case some of you made that connection, that is also fine. That she showcased and then we elaborate it, we further expand on it and say she asserted. Even that is fine. Okay? Acha, theek hai. I'm assuming that things are clear to you. All right. Okay. So these were some type in the answer parajumble questions. Let's have a look at some odd sentence parajumble questions now. You know that in your odd sentence parajumble questions, 5 sentences are given to you and you have to simply find the one that does not belong to the paragraph. Basically, 4 of them form a coherent paragraph. One of them does not belong. These can be time saving questions, plus there is no negative marking. Yes, no negative marking. So do give these questions a sincere shot. However, for every question out there in this world, don't waste unnecessary time on any question. It's not that an odd sentence out question can never be difficult. That's not the case. Even an odd sentence out question can be difficult. So, in case after a minute you feel you've still not narrowed down to even 2 sentences, that means probably this is difficult for you. It's not worth then. It's not worth spending 1.5 more minutes on it, right? Okay. Coming to question 4. 4 to 1 3. Gaurav is saying, why can't 4 to 1 3 be a sequence in question number 3? Right. So let's see. Like a male athlete might do. If I start with it, yes, what context does it give me? Like a male athlete might do. This is one sentence. Okay, this is not a fragment of a sentence. So if you are saying that after 4, I place 2. So then in that case, it had to be one single sentence. Like a male athlete might do, she asserted the right of a woman. Okay, also that again grammatically does not make sense because you are saying a male athlete might also then assert the right of a woman. If you are combining these two ideas, if you're placing 2 after 4, then you know what that implies, that a male athlete, just like a male athlete might assert the right of a woman to own the moment, she also asserted the right of a woman to own the moment. So 4 to changes the entire meaning of this paragraph. Okay, where the other four sentences do not form a coherent paragraph. Uh, yes, Harsh, you are absolutely right. So sometimes what happens is the way these questions are framed, the other four sentences, the other four sentences also aren't those sentences that are immediately next to each other. However, they do relate to a common theme and a common scope, not just theme. Because thematically, even your odd sentence out could be related. But all of these also fit in terms of range or scope, right? So while you may not be able to very quickly or very readily adjust them next to each other, right, but you will still realize that whatever discussion is happening in all these four belongs to the same theme and scope. So yes, this is what you have to deal with. This is how you have to eliminate. You don't have to be bothered about making a sequence. That's why I repeat this time and again, right? Don't be bothered about making a sequence, whether what how they will fit next to each other, till the time they share a common theme plus a common scope. That's when they belong to, we assume that they belong to one coherent paragraph, right? They form one coherent paragraph. Good question. Okay, let's come to our question number 4. Yes, let's see what you say. One, two, okay, all right. One versus two. One more two I've got. Right. So, is it a difficult question? Tell me. No, this is the kind of odd sentence out question that you should obviously attempt. Okay, so let's have a look. If you notice something very basic here, was, got, okay, was, and again, the language of the internet became. So past tense. All of these are in the past tense. Whereas here first is in the present tense. In an overheating and now plague-filled world, citizens are left to find shelter in the bosom of the nation. We are suddenly coming from a past situation, a past trend, so to say, to the present situation. To the present situation. Okay, while this also talks about the nation, right? We are talking about patriotism, we are talking about nations in the other sentences also, right? So we are talking about them. However, this takes a leap from the past trend to the present situation. It takes a leap, and this leap is very abrupt, right? So while some of you might think, see thematically to match kar raha hai, but in terms of scope, in terms of range, this does not match. You're absolutely right. One is the odd sentence out. Okay, so in 2, 3, 4, 5, we show the process of how globalization came to dominate the world, particularly the developed world, right? Historians actually deliberately did this. They swapped out stories of the nations, stories of nations. So after 2 centuries of all of this, the nation was out and the global was in. Right. Patriotism was confined to safety valves of World Cups and pharaonic Olympic villages. These flat earth means the world is flat as a book, right? I think Milton Friedman, he wrote it, and wherein he talks about globalization, how globalization has made the world a level playing field. So as the flat earth messengers gloated, boasted, the language of the internet became the rhetoric of globalization, especially in the wealthy north. So all of these talk about how this came to be, how this the process of our becoming a globalized world where patriotism and nationalism was relegated to the background. Okay, one is abrupt. Uh, Yes, good, Amrit. Actually, that is the case. Okay, so this is a question that we have created. It's not from a previous year paper, right? And this is what a lot of examiners also do, that they take up an article, right? And how do they make an odd sentence out? So four sentences will come from one paragraph, even though they may not be immediately next sentences, immediately adjacent sentences. They'll come from the same paragraph. And the odd sentence out will be from the same article usually, but from a different paragraph. That happens a lot. Okay. So one is the odd sentence out. Good. Music core, is it clear now? All right. Yes. If you find value in the session, right, then please show your appreciation by pressing the like button. Your feedback matters to us. Right. So this was the fourth question, odd sentence out. Again, let's look at another odd sentence out. Question 5. Let's see what you say. What is the odd sentence out? Okay. Lokesh says 5. Shreya says 3. King also says 3. Okay, okay. Don't just jump the bandwagon that if one person has said 3, I also have to say 3. Or if one person has said 5, I also have to say 5. Okay, all right, all right. So those who are saying 3, and those who are saying 5, aren't 3 and 5 related? Doesn't 5, 3 form a pair? So if you look carefully here, phasing out fossil fuels implies the need for massive investment, huge investment, even if estimates of the precise figure are subject to significant uncertainty. So we bring the question, we actually introduce this question of what amount of investment is required. So we say massive investment. The estimates of the precise figure are subject to uncertainty, but it's massive investment. So then we give such estimates in 3. We talk about how the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda will require global investments of 5 to 7 trillion dollars per year, right? So 5 and 3, they seem to be related. They 3 gives me the quantum of that massive investment, one estimate of that. Okay, all right. So those who say 4, I've seen a couple of you saying 4. Karthik, Parth, Amrit also says 1 or 4. So Harsh also said 4. Yes. So why 4? See, first is actually the topic sentence. First is the topic sentence. It tells me what I'm going to talk about in the next sentences. Financing, basically, from where will we get the money for the green transition, for transitioning to a greener world, an eco-friendly world, right? So, this is the topic sentence that the foremost priority goes to the heart of the financial system and central banking. So, what is the heart of the financial system and central banking in this context? Financing the green transition. Okay, so that is perhaps their priority. Now, once I've stated this, I talk about how phasing out fossil fuels. So now I talk about this extent of these finances. How much money do I need? Kitna paisa chahiye mujhe, right? Phasing out fossil fuels will actually require a lot of money. As per some estimates, it is this, as per the UN estimates. To fill this gap, now see, we require so much money. It will require global investments of $5 to $7 trillion per year. So to fill this gap, it will be crucial to mobilize the resources of financial intermediaries, including banks. So I have pretty much in these three sentences summed up what I introduced in the first sentence. Financing, and we talked about banks also there, financial system and central banking, financing the green transition. We talked about how much money investment is required, and we talked about how it is crucial to involve the banks, to involve financial intermediaries, right? Now, why for the odd sentence out? Some of you might be thinking, see, this also talks about sustainable finance markets. It also talks about investment, green investment. So how is this not related to the paragraph? Because the theme of the paragraph is how much money is required and from where this money will be arranged for green transition. So financing the green transition is the topic of discussion here. It is not about what various countries have done in the absence of coordination in this regard. Okay, so it digresses a little. It digresses. It matches in terms of theme, but it does not match in terms of scope. Our aim here is not to discuss what each country is doing or how we need an international coordination. Our aim is just to discuss that, okay, financing the green transition requires money and we need banks for that. That's it. Okay, hope this makes sense. Why 4 is the odd one out? This was a good question. Okay, so this was not what I would call an easy question, because you really had to put two and two together here, right? uh, okay, 2 4 pair. All right, 4 and 1. 2 4 pair. No, no, 2 4 is not a pair. I understand why you must be thinking this, because of the fact that limiting the cross border availability of capital. So, first of all, the cross border availability of capital is not the point of discussion, not the issue under discussion here. So that itself digresses. I understand that you related to fill this gap with this lack of availability. Okay, but it can very easily be related with three also, that we need so much money and we don't have so much money, right? Okay, absence of global coordination in four. Yes, Pragya, see, I just addressed this. Okay, I understand your concern, right? But the fact that we are not discussing cross border availability of capital at the outset makes it incorrect. Okay. All right. What else is there in the chat box? Can we score 95 plus in VRC now? Yes, you can score 95 plus in VRC, but it also depends on what is your current level. I understand that you may not have prepared a lot till now, but why don't you take a diagnostic test? What do I mean by a diagnostic test? Just take a mock. Okay, take a CAT mock and see how much you're able to score in VRC at present. Okay, even if you're able to score, let's say, a 25, 26, then also you can reach a 95 percentile. Okay, a 95 percentile last year was at a 34, 35, if I'm not wrong. So yes, you can increase your score by 8 to 10 marks in this 1 month. That's possible. But you'll have to work really hard. That goes without saying. Right? Okay. Yes, Kaushal, we are discussing some verbal ability questions. So I've discussed 5 questions already, all of parajumbles. Type in the answer parajumbles and odd sentence of parajumbles. Now we are going to discuss some para summary questions. Okay, so let's have a look. Initially, as I told you yesterday, also para summary did not carry negative marking. Those were the days, yes, but now it does. So we have to be careful while attempting it. Okay, and we have to understand the paragraph well, understand what it is talking about, the theme. Okay, one trick that always comes in handy for me is whenever whenever the author has offered an opinion in the paragraph, that figures in the summary. वो summary में आएगा जब भी author ने opinion दिया है. Another thing that helps me is that if I find a paragraph complex, after reading it, I once reread the opening and the closing sentences once again. Okay, I do that. Now it's again not a foolproof approach, let me tell you that, because sometimes it's the middle part that contains the essence of the paragraph. It totally depends on a writer's writing style, but a lot of times this helps me because it enables me to make more sense of the paragraph by looking at what the author started with and what he or she has finished with. Right. So these are two tricks that I apply for my difficult questions, for questions that I find tricky. Okay. So let's have a look at this. This is political philosophy. Yes, yes, but just VRC, just VRC, right? Uh, Political philosophy, this one. Okay, so attempt this. Hmm. Tell me what the answer should be. A para summary question. Give me the essence. So Anil, it totally depends on how much effort you put in the coming days, right? If it's currently 26, that means you must be somewhere in 85 percentile in VARC, right? So you can very easily increase your score to 90 percentile. And usually, what happens is when a student scores 85 percentile in the mocks, naturally the student scores relatively higher in the actual exam, at least by 3 to 4 percentile. Why? Because there are a lot of students there who are taking the exam just for the sake of taking it. They're just making up numbers, right? So I think you can take it up to 95 percentile. You're currently at 85 if you put that effort. So Amisha, I just gave you two tips. I'll give you more tips after you finish this question. Yes. 3, 4. Vipul, if you want to go to IBS, then you can. What other exams are you taking? 3, 4, 2. Okay, okay. All right. Let's go to the question. I've got all these three. Yes. So again, see what I've been doing since yesterday. I've been picking up difficult para summary questions because I think the easy ones you are able to do through elimination. So yesterday also I picked up two political philosophy paragraphs because I believe that they're relatively difficult, right? Now this talks about totalitarianism. It's a political ideology. It's a form of governance wherein usually a dictator or a group of a few authoritarian people, they want total and absolute control on the lives of the citizens. That is totalitarianism. For instance, North Korea is a totalitarian state. Totalitarianism is not always operated by diktat. Diktat is a firm dictatorship, firm rules. It can be insinuated, it can be hinted by suggestion and replication. Okay, you just suggest that our society is a totalitarian society. You just bring it into the consciousness of the society, of the people of your country, and then they will replicate it. They will copy this behavior. Dissent does not have to be banned if it is countered. See, dissent is when you speak against the government, speak against an established authority. You don't need to always ban dissent. Okay, so it's elaborating what was said in the first two sentences, that you don't always have to operate totalitarianism by strict rules. You don't always have to ban dissent, ban this speaking against the government. Rather, you can simply counter it. You can counter this dissent by mass promo rallies. The government carries out its own promo rallies wherein it promotes itself. Okay, that will also do the work of suppressing dissent. Or you become a very good orator, you give great speeches, hypnotizing oratory. That will also suppress dissent. Despotic, dictatorial establishments do not need to turn Hitlerian. So a dictator does not have to become a Hitler. All they need to do is to let the race chemistry work. Okay, this even I'll have to read more about. It's related to Hitler only. I remember this much. Okay, but I don't know the details. I have forgotten the details. Right. So all they need to do is let some chemistry work. Right. So probably it's the propaganda that I'm talking about here. Self-regulation and self-censorship will click in when you do such massive propaganda and oratory, then self-regulation, people will start regulating themselves, people will start censoring themselves automatically. Then any dissident again, who speaks against an established authority, then any dissident who wants to retain his intellectual liberty, anybody who speaks against the government and wants to remain like that, wants to retain his or her intellectual liberty, will find himself prevented, stopped by the general drift of society, by the general trend in the society, rather than by active harassment and persecution. Right? This is what this paragraph means, just explaining it to you word by word. Although in the exam, you need not have such a word by word understanding. Right? This is for your knowledge. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. One says totalitarianism is generally operated by undermining freedom of expression through active persecution and censorship. While it is not incorrect, this is not the focus of my paragraph. My paragraph says that fine, a lot of times totalitarianism is actually operated through these strict rules, through strict order, but it does not always have to be so. So it talks about a situation where it does not have to be so, where you need not be Hitlerian. So this is talking about the other situation, how totalitarianism generally operates. So this is not the focus of my para, not the focus of my para. It talks about the other situation. Second says hypnotizing oratory and promo rallies can effectively counter dissent and lead to persecution of the masses. Okay. So while this part is absolutely correct, okay, uh, persecution of the masses. First of all, we are not talking about persecuting the masses as such. We are talking about persecuting dissidents. One thing. Secondly, this is just a part. This is very narrow as an answer. My paragraph is not about hypnotizing oratory and promo rallies. It's about totalitarianism and how it can operate without diktat. So this is narrow in its approach. Hope this makes sense. I know there's a lot to comprehend here, but stay with me. Self-regulation and self-censorship in society stifle freedom of expression. While this is also not completely incorrect, it is again narrow in its approach, incomplete. Fourth is the answer here. Why? Because it talks, see, we started by talking about dissent, speaking up against someone. We also finish by talking about dissidents, speaking against the government. So, this idea is this total control over a person's life. Okay, this intellectual liberty that a person wants to retain, it does not have to be repressed by authority always, does not have to be repressed by diktat always. If there are self-appointed vigilantes, so what happens? You turn the public into a self-appointed vigilante. They go for self-censorship, self-regulation. Okay, self-appointed vigilantes they become. Vigilantes who are keep an eye, a vigilant eye on others, to bully it into silence, and then they bully intellectual liberty into silence. So fourth is our best bet out of these options. These two are very narrow in their scope. This is not the focus altogether. Right? Okay. And this, doing this with you reminded me of 1984 by George Orwell. In case you haven't read it, you can consider reading it. Okay. You'll realize what it talks about. Uh, I conducted one session yesterday itself, Rajiv, so you can watch that session. Right? Okay. Coming to our seventh question, I am going to go invisible now so that you can read it. I usually don't take up such long questions because there's no space on the slides. But this time I thought I should, because these are the kind of questions that require some comprehension on your part. Okay, so going invisible, read this question number 7 and tell me the answer. So Karthik, what the author has said includes his or her point of view. Right? What the author has said includes his or her point of view, and that figures in the summary. Right? So it's a combination of both the things that you said. Gaurav, I agree. I agree. I agree with you there. Bully it to silence. The part about bullying is a little extreme. But when you compare it with the other options, it's much better than the other options. Right? Even I was doubtful about 4 because of this. But then the other options were worse. So this paragraph has some examples also. If you read this carefully, it's not a difficult question. Good. So I can't stop myself further. You are absolutely right. 2 is the answer, and I'm so happy that all of you've said 2 so far, right? So again, when we start reading it, no, when we look at the first sentence, modern history abounds with violence fueled by apocalyptic myths, right? Apocalypse, when the world ends, that's an apocalypse. So modern history, when you read it, it talks about violence that was fueled by such apocalyptic myths, not always explicitly religious in nature. However, these myths that apocalypse will come, these were not always explicitly religious in nature. This is what we then exemplify. We give examples of this, that how uh, we were not exploiting religion in both these cases, right? We were actually exploiting secular myths. Then we further give examples, right? We also talk about Nazism and fascism by saying that a new society could be fashioned by the systematic use of terror. So this is one other important point. So first important point, second important point, and then this is actually the point because of which the author has written the entire paragraph, that violent jihadism also has more in common with these modern totalitarian movements than is commonly supposed. Commonly, it is thought that it is explicitly religious in nature, but it also has more in common with such totalitarian movements. That's what this paragraph wants to state. Elimination, yes, absolutely. The options are easier here. Second is the answer, right? Uh, the myth of social transformation, right? Uh, so basically, creating a new society, social transformation, creation of a modern state. The myth of social transformation has underpinned many totalitarian movements in modern history, and violent jihadism too exploits this. This also exploits this, right? So it's not a religious myth here. Then see, 3 is very definitive. 3 is very definitive. The reality is that it is no. We are not saying that that is false. That there are no religious myths when it comes to terrorizing people when it comes to revolts, etc. There are religious myths also there, but they are not. These kind of revolutions, etc. These kind of movements are not always religious in nature. That's the point. So three is not the answer. Now, coming to fourth, why not fourth? Modern history illustrates that it is a myth that societies can be transformed by the systematic use of terror. No, this is false as per my para. Modern history rather has Nazism and fascism, which actually tell us that the belief that a new society, okay, there was this belief under Nazism and fascism that a new society could be fashioned by the systematic use of terror, right? So, this is first of all distorted, that it is a myth that societies can be transformed. Rather, they exploited this belief, Nazism and fascism. Moreover, the systematic use of terror part is a very narrow argument. It's just one sentence of this entire paragraph. It's not the main point of the paragraph. Right? Hope this makes sense. 2, 3, 4, I've explained all the three. Okay. And one is a little narrow because it talks narrow and also distorted. It says it is justified on the secular myth of social transformation. We are not talking about how it is justified. We are saying that it has more in common with modern totalitarian movements. Okay. So I hope this is crystal clear to everybody now. Yes, so these were a few questions that we did today. I hope they made some sense to you and gave you some insight into how to attempt these questions. Yes, that is important. Um, of course, we'll continue with this. We'll attempt some more VA questions because a lot of you said that you want to do more of VA questions, right? This is it for today. I'll see you again tomorrow with another session and we'll see more questions, right? Thank you for attending. And yes, I'm sure that all of you saw the video about the open mock, right? All India open mock, and some of you have already taken it. If not, then please do take it in this window, right? This is a CAT 23 comprehensive program, and we offer a lot of things here. So your friends or anybody you would want to recommend can consider enrolling in this, right? This is our test series. This will be very relevant for you because now a lot of non-CAT exams are going to come after CAT, IFT, SNAP, etc., etc. Right? So a lot of practice material here along with mocks. And this is our last lap. It is already going on. Again, I hope you saw the video in the beginning. It talked about this. I took a session called Eliminating Options for RCs in this. I'm going to take another session tomorrow, odd sentence out. Yes, odd sentence out para jumble. So you can consider attending it at 7 p.m. Right? Okay, and follow us on our social media handles. We can stay connected via this Telegram group as well. Okay? Welcome, welcome. Welcome all of you. So Dave, watch the whole session in case you've just joined, and if you still have queries, then I'll solve them. Okay? Welcome. Bye.